Hey guys, what's up? As requested, I'm gonna review this video called 7 Steps to UnF Your Life.
Listen to me. You are so close. You are doing so many things right. You're working hard. You're putting in the effort. There's these 7 things that are counteracting all of the good things that you're doing. So that's why in today's video, I'm going to show you 7 ways to unfuck your life. So that way, in the next 12 months, you can win big. So the first way to unfuck your life is never disrespect momentum. You see, for a lot of you, your biggest issue is you get a win. You win today. You set a list of things to do and you do it. You take the actions necessary to grow your business. You take the right steps in the right direction, and then all of a sudden, you kick your feet up. You get comfortable. You stop doing the things that got you to even where you are right now. Listen, you may not be a multimillionaire. You may not be in the place you want.
All right, it's clear from the get-go that he's talking about a slave's life, which is not something that you should be aiming for in the first place. No business on earth, or money, which is probably what he's going to talk about, is going to make you happy or healthy, seeing as a business where money doesn't even exist. Something that doesn't exist cannot make you happy or healthy. That's what every human being naturally wants, which is why going after something like that is already gonna F up your life. The video is just ridiculous from the very beginning.
Want to be in life, but even if you just have a week or a couple weeks of success, of wins, all of a sudden then you just think that, oh, I can go back to my old ways and I don't actually need to keep up the things that got me here in the first place. Momentum, in my opinion, is genuinely the most powerful force you can have in your life. I always say, when it rains, it pours. And by the way, that also applies negatively. Negative momentum is a thing. The pendulum can swing either way. So when you are on a hot streak, when you have momentum in life, never ever disrespect it. Because as I said, when it rains, it pours. When one blessing comes into your life, usually there's a few more around the corner. And Jenny makes me...
It really just sounds like a religious belief. And from what I understand, he was also at least implying that you shouldn't be comfortable, that you should always work and be sharp, so to speak, as in focused on these man-made, actually non-existing goals. Of course, a human being naturally wants to be comfortable. That's when we feel the best. He's describing a stressful slave life.
Now, moving into the second way to unfuck your life, and that is to cut out the bad habit friends. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of times I notice that people have friends that, you're not really friends. You're just friends because you have a friendship or a bond over a bad habit. Here's what I mean. Stoners...
Yes, I have actually made videos about this.
Have their stoner friends, like the people they smoke weed with. But outside of that, if they were sober, probably if they stopped smoking weed in 7 years, they wouldn't still be friends.
Yes, exactly. And you can't rely on these kind of people. I've also had friends in my life, a few actual real ones, but basically 99% of the people, especially the subscribers that I met in real life, all of these so-called acquaintances, turned out to be backstabbers. They talk behind your back. You can't rely on them whatsoever. They use you. It has nothing whatsoever to do with friends. A real friend is always there for you. No matter what happens, you can always trust a friend. Real true friendships can only be created with human beings who are happy and healthy. You can only rely on them. And seeing as 99.99% of people on earth are insane, it means that you cannot create actual natural friendships with them. That's just how it is, unfortunately.
You've got your gamer friends, but outside of gaming, you don't really have that much to talk about or that much of an interest in each other. Or you've got your partying friends, or you even have your gossip friends. You've got those friends where it just seems like all you do when you're around them is just gossip. Have a lunch, have a coffee, and gossip about people.
Yes, it's miserable people who want to share this misery with other people. They want to bring everybody down to their level, so to speak. It has nothing to do with friendships. You cannot trust these people. You cannot really do anything that you would do with somebody who would actually be a natural friend to you. And really, true friends are usually only your family.
These are friends that perpetuate and keep you doing these bad habits. If you cut out these friends, then you cut out the habits, because a lot of times these friends and the feeling that you need to keep being friends with them, or this idea that you're a bad person because all of a sudden you've changed, you have a new identity, you formed a new identity, and your identity, quite frankly, doesn't align with these people anymore. So it's fine. You don't need to be mean. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to be emotional. You don't need to shout at them and tell them they're a horrible person and cut them off aggressively, but you just slowly distance yourself. There is nothing wrong with that. So I want you to sit here and analyze and look at all of your friends and ask yourself, why am I actually friends with them? If I was in a room with them for 30 days, would I still have a good time? Would I enjoy myself? Would we get along? And if the answer is no, then probably there's something outside of your genuine friendship that is keeping you there. And by the way, that's okay if it's, for example, work related. You guys are work colleagues, or let's just say you're intermingled in some ways, but they're not a bad influence. But you're gonna find that a lot of times these people are only in that bracket, in that friendship bracket, because you guys bond over a habit that is keeping you stuck in your life. Cut those friends out and cut out those bad habits. The next way to unfuck your life is to get more sunlight as early as possible in the day.
Sunlight is great for you. Okay, an actually good suggestion.
Is one of, if not even the most powerful forces in our lives. Sunlight has the ability to make things grow, prosper, and flourish. It has been my observation.
Yes, the sun is life. That's why there always used to be some forms of sun worship. People used to see the sun as God.
Personally, as well as all of my closest friends.
Christians actually still worship the sun. They just call it Jesus without realizing it, especially on Christmas when it dies and rises again.
And confidants, there's a direct correlation between more sunlight and a better mood and a healthier body. My best recommendation, and listen, I don't care if it's winter, I don't care if you don't see any direct sunlight, the sun is still there and it still has its effects. When you wake up in the morning, get some direct exposure to sunlight. I don't care if that means, okay, just going out on your balcony and reading for 10 minutes or even just meditating for 10 minutes, or you leave the house and you go for a walk. I'll be honest, my morning routine is I wake up, I put on my swim trunks and I walk approximately 5 meters to the private beach that's in front of me. And listen, I worked hard for 7 years. I started my first business when I was 16 years old to be able to afford this life, where now my home is in a gated community on a private beach in one of the best cities in the world. And every single day when I go in,
one of the best cities in the world, Dubai, there's incredibly much radiation in Dubai because of all of the technology. It's a horrible city as far as that goes. Then also, there's no such thing as good cities in general. All of them are polluted. And Dubai, or the United Arab Emirates, are a fake Muslim country. It's a fake Muslim city. They don't follow Islam whatsoever. They used to very long ago, but Dubai is really just part of the United States. It's owned by the US. That's why they became so Americanized, so enslaved. That's why they don't follow Islam there anymore.
In the sea, I feel so grateful about that. But even when things weren't like this, when I grew up and I was living in London and it was cold and it was dreary and it was the winter and I couldn't afford to go away because I was just starting my business. I was a teenager with just a dream, a vision.
All right, it's pretty cool that he realizes that human beings naturally don't want to be in cold climates. They don't like winter. There's no sunlight, gray weather, rain, all of that. He likes being in Dubai more, which is understandable. Still, it's a city. It's a polluted city filled with radiation in a desert. There's way better cities out there, but whatever.
And a yearning and a desire to take care of him and his mom who'd done so much for him. That was why I started this whole thing. And the reason I say that is because I was still doing the same stuff back then. Back then, I was still going for a walk in the morning, or once I was able to move into my own place and afford to have a back garden, I would sit in the back garden and have my water and read and have a coffee. So no matter who you are, where you live in the world, there's no excuse to not get direct sunlight first thing in the morning. And obviously, the more skin you show, the better. Next way to unfuck your life is...
I would recommend sunbathing at noon, depending on your skin type. The lighter your skin, the less you should do it. People with dark skin, for example, need to be in the sun for at least 4 hours a day to get enough vitamin D.
Clean your desk. Crazy, I know. Sounds so stupid. But why is it that in the military they make people make their beds? And by the way, I have to be very honest here. I don't make my bed anymore. And that's because I'm now, 8 years into business, and I've dialed in all of these disciplines and all of these habits. But when I first started, I was so diligent. I was so on the ball with these things. My desk was always clean. My bed was always made. Cleaning your desk isn't necessarily about having a clean desk. I mean, it's a benefit, it's a positive, but I wouldn't sit here and pretend like it's truly life-changing. It's just the fact that it's such an easy win. It's something you can do right after this video. Clean your desk, organize. And I guarantee the next time you sit at your desk, you're gonna feel so much better about getting to work because you don't have this clutter around.
It's a pretty stupid point, as he implied himself. Of course, it does say something about your biochemical state. If you're always tired, you don't want to do anything, it's really a mess, there's insects and rats all over your place, then there's probably something wrong with you. But in nature, nobody really keeps the place tidy as such. They don't clean the wood or anything if you have shelter. So it's not exactly natural to keep everything super clean, especially if you use some kind of cleaning products. If you need to watch a video to motivate yourself to keep things more or less tidy, then there's probably something wrong with you anyway. And if you just do it without watching the video, you just keep things more or less tidy, then you're fine biochemically. It's just a stupid point.
The next way to unfuck your life is to have a strict rule. No music before 1 p.m. Now, the reason I say no music before 1 p.m. is because music, at the end of the day, especially a lot of the modern music that is being made, a lot of it is propaganda. A lot of it, the actual frequency of the music is frenetic. Like, I don't know, sometimes if you listen to modern music and it's just kind of like, it puts you on edge. You just feel like a little off. And by the way, like,
This is a very good point. Music most definitely has a frequency, and you can for sure argue that we also function because of frequencies, which is why if you listen to the wrong kind of music from the mainstream media, then it can impact your own frequency, your own biochemical state. Absolutely, of course, we can feel that. If I ever hear mainstream music, especially on the radio, then I feel bad in the sense that I really don't welcome it. It really does not feel good for my body. And I believe that the mainstream music is programmed with this frequency for a reason. It's supposed to make people depressed, for sure, and probably even a lot more.
I love bumping some rap while I'm training, but in the morning is such a fragile time for your mind. It's such a delicate time for your mind, and it's a time of the day where you should have some peace, you should have some quiet, and you shouldn't be implanting a lot of these, quite frankly, a lot of the music these days, I'm just gonna call it what it is, demonic. Like these demonic, weird thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. Demonic is a good word.
And frequencies and sounds. So I believe a strict rule you should adhere to is before 1 p.m., don't listen to any music, or at least don't listen to any music with lyrics.
There's no need for music in general. Obviously, it's man-made. You can argue that there is music in nature. Humans sing, birds even make sounds, which you could call music. There's all kinds of music out there. The music that we get to listen to through modern technology can, of course, be detrimental to our well-being. Underground music is simply made by human beings who have nothing to do with any kind of programming. I've never felt anything bad from it.
Because as I said, music is one of the biggest ways to influence people. And at the end of the day, why should you let this rapper or this artist or this person, why should they influence what's going on in here? The decisions you make in your life path should...
I would say that movies have more of an impact, but music is right up there.
Be about studying things out there, even watching videos like this, and maybe half the video you look at and you're like, oh, this is stupid, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Maybe even what I'm saying right here about the music, maybe you're like, you disagree with it wholeheartedly, but that's fine. At least you're looking at things, and at least you're analyzing things, and you're coming to that conclusion, and you're doing it consciously. Whereas the issue is with music, a lot of it is unconscious. You know, you're just listening to it, and these ideas are being implanted in your mind, and you don't even realize it's happening. So it's much better, save yourself from all that, save yourself from the programming, the conditioning, and really protect this thing right here, especially in the early...
This is incredibly true, but most people will never understand what he's talking about. I don't know what exactly he means, what kind of programming, but people don't get that when they watch Hollywood movies, especially, that they get programmed, and that's because they don't realize in what way they get programmed. There's some ways which I'm not even allowed to mention on YouTube. There's very subconscious ideas that get implanted inside of your head, but a lot of these conspiracy theorists out there watch these movies created by Masons, and they just watch them believing that whatever, it's just a movie, I see through the symbolism, blah, 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 but they don't realize that there's so much programming going on. The way you're supposed to behave in society in general, they just watch them, they see the symbolism, they actually believe that they see through it without realizing that they are very deeply being programmed on how to behave in everyday life.
Hours of the morning, because it can really set the tone for the rest of the day, and it can really cement ideas in your mind that maybe shouldn't be there. Now, moving on and staying on the topic of programming.
You should generally avoid mainstream movies and music, especially anything that comes from Hollywood.
Keeping you dumb, keeping you just kind of in a daze. The next way to unfuck your life is unfollow all of the Insta baddies. All of those girls, which is basically just softcore porn, you know, all these girls in bikinis, this, that. Unfollow all of them unless you...
I gotta say that I've never seen any of them. I've seen videos, glimpses of something here and there, but I've never used Instagram in my life. I don't know anything about it, but I've heard of it. I have just in general never been interested in watching a girl online, watching photos or videos of some girl. I just don't get why somebody would do that. It's just loser behavior.
You actually know them. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and...
I said I don't get why somebody would do that, and then I say that it's loser behavior. I do get it. I get that there's losers out there. I get that a lot of people are very unattractive. They can't get girls, so to speak. And that's the only way that they can feel close to a girl.
Judge you, especially if you're in your younger years in life and you want to be a playboy and you want to enjoy yourself and you're following girls that you like actually know that there's actually something going on there. But like, I've never been able to get through my head why a guy would follow 300 Insta baddies that does not know of his existence. She doesn't know you. She doesn't know who you are. She never will. Like, you're just a spectator. And imagine you wake up and the first thing you grab your phone and you're going.
To understand that, you have to understand why somebody does that in the first place. Why do you do anything? You do something because you like it, you want it in your life. In this case, a guy who is most likely not particularly attractive is gonna look for girls online because he doesn't have a girlfriend. He doesn't have this girl in his real, actual, natural life. He now goes on Instagram, he likes what he sees, he follows her. Maybe, do they give money to the girls? I don't know what happens on Instagram. They get paid for advertising products, right? For the most part. Maybe then he goes on OnlyFans through the Instagram. Yeah, that's probably what happens. They also link OnlyFans on YouTube. And because you find her attractive, you want to get closer to her. It's a delusional kind of relationship that you're having with her. But if this guy really doesn't understand why that happens, then I can tell you that's why it happens. These guys cannot get anybody in real life.
You're looking at these Insta baddies and you just got your mind in this sexual place. And the worst part, it's not only the fact that it's sexual, it's the fact that the first thing you're doing in the day is making yourself feel bad because you're looking at that and you're going, I don't have that in my life. I want that in my life. So listen, right now, go ahead, unfollow all of the Insta baddies. And then on your explore page, wherever it is.
Okay, at first, I didn't have any hope for this video at all. I'll just say it. But now, I actually really like it.
If there's any photos of girls or anything like that, hold it and then you can put not interested. I think my Instagram Explorer is basically just photos of Porsches, watches, and like some family stuff.
Is that much better? It's better, I would say. It's kind of less pathetic, but photos of Porsches, some man-made metal with man-made wheels, it has no natural meaning. It doesn't fulfill you. It's nothing. It's nothing, literally. You only see the something because of the media. The media told you that it's worthy. And you actually talked against listening to all of this music. A lot of the garbage hip-hop nowadays, the fake hip-hop, is about cars, money, and blah, blah, blah. A lot of the Hollywood movies and the media in general try to make you believe that that's what's important. You're not that different from these guys who follow the Instagram girls. You don't realize that, of course, watches, time doesn't even exist. A watch? Come on, that's pathetic.
I feel like a person's explore page says so much about them on Instagram. And
yes, it does. And if I would see you, I would see you as a dumb slave. You are... I said that I liked the video. I do like what he said, but he's a dumb slave. He just is. He's into creating businesses which don't exist. He's into money, which literally doesn't exist. You cannot sense it with any of your senses, which is why it doesn't exist. A car is just nothing. A watch is nothing also. It's man-made. It doesn't give you any happiness, fulfillment, health, just nothing at all. It's all pointless. It's as much of a meaningless life as somebody who follows Instagram girls. Maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit less pathetic.
The next and final way to unpick your life is try to fast as long as you can. Whether that...
Oh my God, okay. I take everything back. No, seriously. Oh my God. Oh my God. Try to fast. For people who don't know what fasting is, it's literally starvation. So what he's saying is try to starve. That's literally what it means. Literally. As long as you can. Try to starve. Yes. Try to do something that completely goes against your senses, against your human nature, against any animal's nature. No animal on earth wants to starve. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Be intermittent fasting, whether that, at the beginning of the month, doing a 48-hour or 72-hour water fast. And by the way, for all you...
Why would you do that? It only ages you. It makes your skin look older, more wrinkly, dries you out. Just give us a reason.
You who are saying, you can't go that long without eating, but just do a little bit of research, please. Humans can...
You can go very long without eating. You can go months without eating, technically, especially if you have enough body fat.
You go weeks and weeks on end without food. And by the way, people do that under medical supervision and usually for a health problem. So I don't recommend any of you guys do it, but I have done many 72-hour and 48-hour fasts. No.
The reason you have done 72 and 48-hour fasts is because you don't have that much body fat. If you would do it for longer, then you would die. That's what happens when you starve. When you starve, you consume yourself. That's all that happens. And eventually, you cannot do it anymore because there's nothing left. There's only a skeleton left. And before that, you already have organ failure and you die. You start eating your organs at the very end when there's no fat left whatsoever. Starvation can never be healthy. If you are obese, you should for sure lose the excess fat because you're overweight. You are over your natural weight. That goes for people who have too much muscle or too much fat. Both of them are overweight, obese. All bodybuilders, especially the ones who are on steroids, and all people who eat junk food all day long should lower their weight to their natural weight. That's the only way to be healthy because nobody can take this excess fat or excess muscle. Both body types are most likely going to experience heart failure eventually.
Only is it one of the best ways to reset your insulin sensitivity as well as your caffeine sensitivity?
Yes, sensitivity, as in you eat carbs and you're more sensitive to the insulin or caffeine. That's not a benefit, let alone a health benefit.
It's a chance for your body to truly repair itself. And there's also something very...
You don't repair yourself when you're starving. When you starve, you're stressed, you're in a fight or flight mode, your cortisol is high. Your body wants you to get food, but it doesn't understand that your mind has been brainwashed. It doesn't understand that you're a stupid slave who was manipulated into not eating. That's why you are stressed the whole time when you're starving. That's why you're more alert, which is why you can think better. It's incredibly detrimental for your health. You're just gonna age quicker.
Spiritual about it. Maybe not all of you watching believe in God. Maybe not all of you watching are religious. That's fine. It is what it is. But I can tell you right now, when you fast, you get a lot closer to God. Or if you don't believe in that, at least spiritually, it really, really does something.
Yes, this is biochemistry. It elevates chemicals, which make you feel like you're closer to God or spiritual. And that's because you are dying, literally. That's what starvation is. Your body is slowly dying. And that's why these chemicals are released. The only way to actually heal your body and repair it is to be comfortable, no stress, and you have to eat the natural food humans are supposed to eat. Raw meat, especially organs, and blood from healthy animals. No starvation. When you starve, you will be consuming your own blood, fat, muscle, and everything. But when you're actually comfortable and you're consuming that from outside sources, then you're healing and repairing.
To you. So try to fast for as long as you can, whether that's intermittent fasting or whether that's, once a month or once a quarter or something along those lines. You do a 48-hour or a 72-hour.
No, terrible advice. Never do anything that you don't want to do. No animal on earth wants to starve, which is why you should not starve. Don't go against your senses. Don't be a stupid slave.
Fast. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are 7 ways to unfuck your life. As I said at the beginning of the video, you are doing so many things right. And I am so proud of you. But there are just a few things, if you just cut them out, you would win on a level you can't even imagine. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, I'm watching from afar and I'm rooting for you.
This video was overall still better than I thought because I assumed that all of the 7 points will be garbage, but 3 of them are actually good, especially the one about sunlight, not listening to mainstream music, which programs you, even though he's programmed himself. I don't know in what way he was programmed, but most likely through movies and probably also music, but he's not conscious of himself. And of course, following some stupid Instagram girls, especially because you can get a girlfriend yourself, is also not going to help you. It's actually going to make you even more miserable. That was also a good point. The rest was just stupid or actually also bad advice. The worst advice was the last one about starving on purpose. He didn't really give a reason as to why you should do that. Maybe it's just a stupid reason, such as controlling your senses, having control over yourself, as in enslaving yourself, similar to semen retention. You should generally not do anything that you're not able to do comfortably, that comes naturally, that feels good. You have to go against your natural senses to starve, seeing as you want to eat when you want to eat. Whenever you want to eat, and whatever you want to eat, as long as the food is natural, that's what you should do. And that's how you're going to be optimally healthy. Starving can never be healthy in any way. It's just impossible. It completely goes against the senses of every animal on Earth. No animal besides stupid, brainwashed human beings actually practices starvation. And only humans are stupid enough to read about the benefits of fasting without realizing that it's literally just another word for starvation. And once you read about the benefits of starvation, then it just sounds different all of a sudden. All of a sudden, you realize what this idiot is actually telling you. Thanks for watching.